All right, guys, it's time for an urgent real-time Bitcoin and stock market forecast. I think everything's going to go up. Even though Israel and Hamas and everybody's fighting, I think everything's going to go up. Even if stocks dump, though, Bitcoin's going to go up, and I'm going to show you why in this episode partially. Let's start with where we are with crypto, and then I'm going to explain why I think we're going to go up with stocks, at least for the time being, until stocks crash and then Bitcoin and crypto goes up alone. Here, this is Bitcoin right now. As you can see, well, if you look at this, all you're seeing is a W, a real big W, and then that could be a harmonic cipher pattern, a Gartley pattern, which would mean we drop to about the 618 zone of this belly button. So we should drop to about here, right? Except no. You know why? Because if we were going to drop, we would have dropped already here. We would have started dropping here. In other words, after these cipher patterns or Gartley patterns are made, we don't just go in triangle. You see what we're doing here? We're triangling. We've created a triangle to where I'm not sure if we're going to go up or down. When that happens, we go the opposite direction of the way we normally would go when we have this big W here. Okay? Now, that's one thing with Bitcoin, but it is possible. So I'm not going to do a big 500x long right now. It is possible that we dump about this much to break this low here to 27667, and then we start pumping and go sky high. That is possible too. If you're following me on OTC_Bitcoin on X.com, I will tell you precisely when you can do a 500x long. Literally, I'll tell you the exact bottom before a huge pump. But for now, it's up in the air. And I'm going to show you why it's up in the air as soon as we get back to the S&P 500 charts. But for now, that was Bitcoin in the triangle. Now let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum, I'm zoomed all the way out to 2021. This is literally a very long time. You can't even see that. August, September, July of 2021. So this is a 3-year chart. 2.5-year chart. Well, I guess 2-year chart. This is the 2-year chart. But as you can see, this is a really, really big triangle. Base, rejection, rejection. Okay, so underneath this line is just no, it's just too cheap. But over this line is too expensive. So now we're at this really weird triangle. So Ethereum right now is undecided. What's the actual real good, fair, safe value in the market? The market's trying to decide right now. And it's going to go up. You know how I know? Let me zoom into this section that looks like a head and shoulders, and that'll give us the answer to that. Okay, here it is. You see this thing that looks like a head and shoulders? Here's 1 enclosed space, 2 enclosed space, 3 enclosed spaces. Shoulder, head, shoulder. And this thing did in fact drop. How you calculate the target for these head and shoulders is you go head and then take the exact same length all the way to ejection point, which is right here, and say, oh shit, the head length is about this much. You take it all the way up to ejection point, which is right here, and say it should have dropped to here. The length of the head should have dropped to about here. But it didn't, and it's going sideways, and it's triangling again. If it triangles, that means that it's done. So the second target for head and shoulders is about this, the most recent head. So you take this recent head height, and then you take it to ejection point, and guess what? Bam, 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 bam. We perfectly hit target. You want me to do that again? I'll show you that again. You take this height, you take the height, right? And then you to ejection point, and my thumb perfectly lands on this point. So we've already hit target. So this is the bottom target drop ratio from the neckline, from this neckline here, and we already hit. Are we going to hit this neckline target? This point, it doesn't look like it because, again, like I said, we're triangling. So that's Ethereum. And if you look, this kind of gives us a big synopsis view. That was Bitcoin, that was Ethereum. This is Bitcoin, this is Ethereum. Let's look at everything now. Crypto market cap, what do you see here? The same sort of thing is happening. Here's a big head and shoulders, but this thing didn't even hit this target. This is ejection point. It's not even close to this target. It's definitely not close to this target, which would have been, the bottom would have been somewhere down here. You see that? Ooh, look at that. It's not even close to that. So that's not happening. And we're going sideways. But you know what else we're doing while we're going sideways? Let me zoom into this section in the A, B, C, D, A, B quadrant of this X, and you're going to see a bull flag. You know what I'll do? I'll zoom in real time. How's that? Let's just start zooming in real time. Zooming in and making it bigger, making it bigger. Let's zoom in again. Let's zoom in again. Zoom in, and what do you see? Right here, we had that W. We are bull flagging right in here. We are bull flagging. So this bull flag does have a couple rejections on the top, which means we could still drop lower and turn into a larger bull flag, which I think is kind of possible at this point. What would it look like? It would look like something like this on Bitcoin. On Bitcoin, it would look something like this. If I were to color it in, it would look something like this. This is what I'm kind of expecting. We might not get there because we might not even do this, and we might just go straight up because of all this volatility on Earth. But I'm going to show you technically. Now we finally get to the S&P 500 and show you why we might not actually dip at all. Ta-da! You see what I'm showing you? There. You can see both. If you don't see it right away, it's okay. It took me about 5 years of training my eyes to see immediately. This is a neckline, but this isn't just any neckline. You see, touch, 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 touch. This isn't just any neckline. This pink zone is actually a real big. Let me show you. Let me zoom out. Show you what this is. It's a real big. I'll show you what this is. And I'm gonna have to keep zooming out because it's a real big, and I'm going to show you what this is. Ta-da! This is a real big mega gap. This is a gap of the S&P 500 futures on the day that we had no news, no news, no news. Suddenly the economy's bad and we just go pump. We just pumped really hard. We just pumped really hard, but the weird part about that particular pump is that when we pumped, we built a bearish descending inverse or bearish descending head and shoulders. See that? You have the arch here, you have a bigger arch, and then you have another arch. You have an M with you have a triple mountain range here, but it's descending. So any head and shoulders that's descending doesn't have a lot of downforce because it's already lost a lot of pressure while it's heading down. And look, lo and behold, what do we have here? What is that? Yeah, this is a bullish triangle. It's slanted downwards and more downwards, and we've got 3 perfectly enclosed spaces so far. With a little rejection here. We do have a little rejection, so we were planning on going down anyway, thanks to that rejection. But you know what we're doing right now? Let's zoom back into this section again. Let me show you why I think we're just going to go straight up from here without much of a dip anymore. Let's zoom right back in. And we zoom back in. And we zoom back in, and voila. Now you should be able to see it. You see it? Head and shoulders, when they form, they're supposed to drop. They're supposed to go head and shoulders. Holy shit, we're bearish. Let's just sell everything. Doof! It should go straight down, but it isn't. It's falling at a falling wedge. Yeah, falling wedge formation. That means that the selling isn't as aggressive as you would have thought it would be. And at the end of a falling wedge, there is normally a double bottom. Ta-da! At the end of a dump cycle, there's normally a double bottom. Let me show you those together. Double bottom, double bottom, double bottom, double bottom. So because of these things and double bottoms that happen at the bottom of a very important gap range, shows you there's support, there's buying support. Hey, if you go underneath this gap, if you go underneath the pink bar that happens to be the gap for the base of the head and shoulders, I'm going to buy, is what all the rich guys are saying. Is what all the hedge fund managers, all the bankers, and all the Rothschilds and Fairchilds and anyway, are saying. Up, up. So if this goes up, that's going to take crypto straight up with it. That's going to take Bitcoin straight up with it without this dip. But obviously this shoulder might not even, it could just be really, really fast. This shoulder could just go, meh, psych, and just go up. So don't count on this dip yet. as we are currently still undetermined. We're currently still undetermined because we just hit neckline. I guess I can zoom in on this and show you. Let me zoom in on this and zoom in on this, and I will show you as I enlarge this and show you that we just hit resistance again. But this resistance is really perfect to hit. This is like the world's best resistance to hit because it just confirmed a bam. Just confirmed a bullish neckline going up. So we should meander here for a little bit, but then what's normally going to happen is whenever the charts say up, the media, the rich guys, the elite manipulate the media by announcing something. They'll announce something bullish, and sure enough, between the built-up bullish pressure and between the news that they announce, hey, all of a sudden everything's safe and everything's, then we'll get a pump. The news isn't unrelated to TA. What normally happens is the elite, they just use TA to say, okay, when are we going to release this news? Let's release it now. The whole world is manipulated. If you complain about the manipulation, you're missing all these opportunities to front run the manipulation, to predict the manipulation, and make your profits and get the F out of the system. Let's get rich, you and me together. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if anything changes, I will update you on my x.com OTC_Bitcoin.